Hello, my name is Dominic, and I'm one of the two executive directors of the ISC here in Munich. And today I will fill you in a little bit on the German innovation ecosystem. So, what is an ecosystem actually? We use this term that naturally comes from biology to describe the interfaces and the parties that help to raise an innovative and entrepreneurial area, metropolitan area or city or another place that makes it interesting for startups, for talent and for other organizations to join and to find pathways to the future and to create innovations in itself. Well, how do we describe an ecosystem and what are the criteria? So the first thing is staff and talent. Probably those resources make the biggest difference, and that is something that we in Germany tend to have not in abundance but enough to actually make the country grow, and also to be attractive for international people to come to Germany. And also we have a very high educational system with a lot of possibilities to raise through the ranks and to find support from all sorts of backgrounds. And this is true both for blue and white collar work. So we have a very well qualified level of people in industry jobs, in crafts, men and women, and also in all service sectors. And on the other hand, we have very high standard in higher education. So the universities and universities of applied sciences have both a high reputation, but also people tend to send their children to higher education so that they grow. The other thing is we have a very good infrastructure. So everyone knows the German Autobahn, but also public transport, railway, and airports and all that is fairly well, right? Not everything is perfect, but it's fairly well. We have actually a quite well-organized state, so all processes, and from elections down to organizing your residency, things work well, very slow, and it's probably over-regulated, but it works, and it makes Germany a place that's very worthwhile living because these things are reliable. And that leads to the next thing. We have a high living standard, so people tend to be quite satisfied, not as satisfied as in Finland or in Austria, but for a big industry nation, the statistics are quite good. And we have a tremendously good childcare and family support from the state. So that is very interesting, especially for people in their 30s and 40s, and a lot of vacations. And the second thing, this is the meta level, and then you would probably look for hotspots. And naturally, it's the big cities in Germany. It's Munich, Berlin, and Hamburg that are the most vibrant regions, but also other regions are increasingly innovative and find their own profiles. Rhineland-Westphalia, the Leipzig area, Stuttgart, Frankfurt finance. So there are several places where a lot of innovation takes place, and especially if you look into industries. So industry clusters are one of the other sorting criteria for ecosystems, and probably you would look for artificial intelligence and deep tech in Munich, for medtech in the Heidelberg area, B2B, internet platforms, all commerce, and also impact and climate tech would look for closeness to the regulator and naturally situated in Berlin. And to make it a little bit more concrete, let's zoom in to one ecosystem, and that's naturally our Munich ecosystem. If you look at a heat map, say, well, Munich has a very strong industry background. A lot of the listed companies sit here, so Siemens, Allianz, BMW, just to name a few, have their headquarters here, but also international big tech such as IBM, Alphabet, Meta, Microsoft, Apple, and so on, chose Munich as their European hub, or as a location for very important R&D facilities that makes the whole place of Munich quite vibrant and very tech savvy. And why is that so? So the most important topic probably is the good infrastructure, but also the leading universities that sit in Munich. So we have 3 rather big universities. So it's our university, LMU, the Technical University, and the University of Applied Sciences, and all are very good at research and do a lot in terms of spin-off service, transfer, support startups, but also try to build international networks to either send startups out to other places like the US, China, or Southeast Asia, or Israel, and also it's a landing pad for a lot of international incoming startups and also talent. So that makes it very interesting. And there's a nice poster which I want to share with you that helps to navigate the Munich ecosystem a little bit. So basically, you will have a lot of startups, some names that you know around that have been founded in Munich. Then we have a huge number of accelerators and company builders. So some are state supported, like the German accelerator. Some take place on European levels, like the Climate Kick and other European innovation technology support organizations. We have Fraunhofer Institute and such organizations sitting here in Munich, and they work very closely together with the universities. We have a lot of co-working spaces, startup initiatives, and also ecosystem orchestrators. We have quite a number of very high-ranked and interesting events. Pizza Pretzels, just to mention the most common and widely heard of, but also the DLD or Tech Days are very important events, and probably you could go to an entrepreneur innovation event every day, and you still would manage to be on every party that takes place to this topic. Naturally, alluring talent is and good infrastructure is alluring capital. So we also have a lot of big venture capital firms, and also traditional banks are highly involved in the topic. As I said, the universities and entrepreneurship centers are very active and probably the nucleus of the ecosystem, and also large organization, professional service firms, big companies tend to work very closely with the universities and the other organizations. Also with the startups, and co-creation processes are going on. So that is basically what we have in Munich. So that's just Munich in a little nutshell, but you will also find a lot of information about us on the web, and whenever you would like to come to Munich, reach out to us, and we will be happy to support you and share our knowledge about this wonderful city in the south of Germany. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Enjoyed it? Please follow our Patreon channel to learn more about international business, entrepreneurship knowledge, latest innovation, and scholars' insights, and even more. See you soon!